if I blindfolded you and the only difference would be the money you had to lay out on the table. You use American money or Canadian money.
Yeah.
Other than that, you couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Machines, slot machines all look like.
If you're ready, it's 5:30. It's all yours.
Sounds good. I did have a delinquent. There was one on there. You could pass it around if you want to. I believe I had like 3 copies. That's all. So, that will be turned into to the taxes for county taxes. Our first topic's we're going to start out with water, and first topic is should we abandon the main in the middle of Route 79 at Matthews Ford? Myself and John Appleman met with Steve Carson. He's working up a price on what it would cost and what would be involved in running an 8-inch line down the side of the road. The abandonment of the 8-inch line in the road. From looking at the GIS, we would need to open cut Oakwell Drive. That's not necessarily true. We may be able to directional bore that. We would say Meritor is not serviced by that line. There's only one customer on that line, and that's that Quick Lube right beside in between Meritor. However, there is a fire hydrant there. So, give you a little background on the line. It's probably a 1957 model cast iron. It's in the middle of the road. Since the improvements on Route 79, we've had 2 main breaks costing approximately $37,946. Last estimate was $30,000 to do the current repair. Last time we repaired it was $7,946 in the road. And plus you got to think about the overtime involved in those main breaks. And whenever you have a main in the middle of the road and the asphalt's 12 to 14 inches thick, if you think you're going to dig right down on top of where the break is, you might as well forget it. This is not going to happen. What happens is it comes up underneath the main, underneath the road, and then fissures out into other areas, and then you think the break's here, so you dig there, and then you start just working back to wherever. That's why you get these large repairs, because when it's under the asphalt, you have no way of really knowing for sure where the main break is. If there isn't an asphalt involved, it's pretty quick. It's usually pretty, you can get within 4 or 5 feet. If you have the asphalt, and if it's in the middle of the road, it could be as far as 30 feet away from where the water's coming out. That's why those main breaks on Route 79 are so costly and so forth. There was a lot of milling and resurfacing took place in that area on Route 79. That could be what's causing the main breaks there in that location. Heavy equipment, I don't know. The only thing I know is since during 2000 to 2012, there were no main breaks at all on that line during that time period. Here in the last 2 years, we've had main break every year then.
How old was the line on Franklin before we replaced that?
That was older than 57. That was
Back in the 30s.
30s is what I,
The Newer Township line there.
it was about 20 years old.
Okay. Are there other lines of similar age that run through that area?
No. Well, yeah, there are. I think probably the one running right down here, 21st Street would probably be in that age range.
Okay.
This line no longer exists. This is the intersection. This line no longer exists. We took that out when we made the improvements. What you would do is you would go from here, you directionally bore across the street to here, then you would run the line down this side of the road. We really don't have the equipment, the main power, and so forth to do it, so it's probably going to be a job that's going to be done by bidding it out. A couple other things we got to consider is, first of all, do you want to abandon this main since you're only feeding this? I can come out of here, somewhere in here, run an inch line to this building and service them. Water. You can abandon this line, but what you're giving up is this fire hydrant right here for fire protection for a Meritor.
But Meritor's got their own hydrants in there.
They're actually on City of Newark water. We don't even run inside Meritor at all.
But they do
It's
have,
just
they
there.
do have hydrants in there that I think is
Oh, I'm sure you probably
serviced
do.
by Newark and their wells in the back.
Yeah, they do have some wells there. I know they have their own wells. I don't know. There's a tank here on the side right here that's for fire protection that they have here. If I just say abandon it, I can service these people here with coming off of this line here, their tap, servicing both these buildings. Then it's up to you guys to decide, is this line important enough to replace for this fire hydrant right here? For fire protection.
Well, that hydrant then also would be used for the quick lube.
Yeah, if there was a fire, sure would. And also for Meritor, as a backup. And this is in the city of Heath, and they do pay heat taxes. People that work there.
If you abandon that line, is there anything that needs to be done to it
Just turn
to
the valve
protect
off.
against the line falling in or anything?
No, just a lot of this. It's already most of this that was abandoned. It's still in the middle of rough. I mean, not. This we have new mains on the side. It just exists, but it's not. You know, it's disconnected, but it's not. It's still there. We don't actually dig it up and replace it and
Because
take
I
it
don't
out.
want 5 years down the road to fall in and say, well, if you'd have done this when we did it.
No, I wouldn't anticipate any kind of like sinkhole or anything like
This
that.
light colored circle, is that a valve?
It's a hydrant.
Okay, so the dark red and the light red, those
Well-
are hydrants?
I'm not sure. That looks different, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is. I don't know
These
if it's
are
just,
valves, right?
Yeah, these are valves. I don't know if it's just blurry because of the picture when I transposed it.
Okay.
It's kind of looking like these are hydrants.
Like, look at this.
Yeah, there's a hydrant there.
And then there's a thing
I
there.
don't know what that is. I'll be quite honest with you. I don't know.
There's valves right by each hydrant.
Oh, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, but they're not. There's not
Yeah.
hydrants by every one of those.
I see a little bit of dark red right there beside this. So yeah.
Every hydrant has what they call a watch valve, so you can isolate that hydrant if you want to, and that may be what they're showing there.
Okay.
Maybe the kind of transpose onto from the GIS.
John, do you have any idea how much money you get out of water usage out of the little
Quick
blue
loop,
place?
not very much.
I mean, we're talking spending thousands of dollars to
My main issue
you know,
is
get
not.
it back.
My main issue is, well, like the mayor said though, the hydrant does go away for fire protection for them. The nearest hydrant would be right here then for them,
Yeah.
which would be a pretty long stretch.
Yeah.
Now, my next question is Meritor. If Meritor ever goes out, someone else comes in, decides to build something completely different, you know, different thing and stuff. I know they've always been serviced with North Water, but is there a reason why, you know, he couldn't start serving it, depending on what the usage was or
We've
what
had a
they
lot
would
of
have?
talk with Meritor.
You know?
I know the mayor has, I know I have over the years. You know, it seems like it's one of these deals where sometimes I think they use it for leverage. They'll come to us and say, hey, can you supply us water? We go, yeah. Well, what's your rates? And what's the best deal you can give us? And it's kind of like they're
Yeah.
playing us like,
Yeah.
you know.
Newark's always going to be better us on rate because they have a larger volume of customers. So
And they're already in there. I mean, they're inside the building. We are not.
yeah.
We used to, years ago, we used to take their sewer. And then we were having, at that time, I don't know what was going on, but we were having a lot of trouble with our sewer plant. Cletus may know some stuff about that. But we couldn't handle it. Well, what Newark did was they just, I think I've mentioned this before, they just made them put in pre-treatment, which is what we should have done.
Yeah.
We should have said, put in pre-treatment and make them do what they're supposed to do. So Newark got them, and then they just made them put in pre-treatment, and they I don't know what the deal was there.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, legal agreements or whatever.
You're saying if it becomes
You know.
another entity, would they have to get water from us since they're inside our city limits?
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
and,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'd have to research that and see.
My understanding is that the very northern part of that building, where the truck docks are, my understanding is that part of their property on that very, very north side is in the city limits of Newark. And that the rest of the building is in Heath. That's, I remember hearing, I remember when I was there a few years ago being told
That could be possible. But I know the city income tax for people working there
Yeah.
comes out of Heath.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they determine that.
I think we just gotta consider long-range planning with economic development. That, there's gonna be something there. Meritor's not gonna be there much longer. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years?
6 months.
Okay, I'm,
They're down to
Wishful
130
thinking.
people in the plant.
So I guess that's kind of what I brought this up as a topic. I kind of wanted to see what you got. What action do you think we should head? Should we head in replacing this? You know, going across the road here and replacing this? Should we not do anything and just say the 2 brakes? Probably, maybe we'll never get another one for another 10 years. I mean, I don't know. Or should you try to move it out of the road?
I used to run the 1-inch line just to service them.
I'm doing that too.
And have all the information, because right now, I mean, to me, it'd be like, I'd almost gamble whether you have another break or not, and,
Yeah.
you know, and
I
go
would
from there
too.
and stuff, because you
But I
may
would-
never have another one.
but I'd have the design ready for something along the side of the road. Spec that way to go. Meritor shuts down, that's a valuable piece of property, either it's industrial use or commercial use, a lot of frontage there. Who knows? Is it a car lot, is it retail
Right.
shopping? Is it light manufacturing scattered in a little
Yeah.
incubator kind of environment? I don't know, but something's gonna be there. Okay, at least on the clean part of the Meritor property, not the back end, because it's valuable frontage.
Well, there was always talk about Matthews Ford buying some of that ground beside that.
And maybe,
there.
well,
I mean,
maybe it's
you know,
not a
I
car
mean,
lot.
always talk, you never know. Sure, whether
I guarantee you with the traffic count there, there's gonna be something there, and we need to have economic development thinking with a line that's gonna service that capacity.
So you're kind of thinking that 1-inch line running here would be crazy.
Say this, but I think he's
Oh,
going to
he's
tell you
gonna fight it.
that that's way too far for
Yeah.
for a quick lube to not have a hydrant.
I'm
Well,
just giving
you
you your
gotta-
options. I mean,
John,
I
you
kind of
gotta
have a
check
feeling.
and see what it costs to
I am.
move that over to the side and get it off if, you know.
I think we either replace that line or we do nothing. I don't think we can abandon that line.
No.
Okay, that's just one of the topics I wanted to run by you. Probably next meeting I'll have more numbers for you, so you can see where we're at, see what we want to do. Okay. Next topic is going to be the water plant improvements. We'll talk a little bit about what we're doing there. This is a process of demolition of the clear well, and basically everything you see there is being demolished, and it has been demolished and it's gone. What we did do, though, there were 2 existing valves that were there that kind of controlled water flow in and out of the plant. We did away with 2 of those valves and we installed 1 valve. So it was kind of a joint effort with Kirk Brothers on doing that work. These are our guys here, some of Kirk Brothers guys here. And we backfilled and installed that new line there beside the clear well here. That's a brand new valve and a new 12-inch main that we installed. After we installed that, then we went through the process of demolition of the clear well, and that's what you see taking place right here. They actually demoed the floor and knocked everything out, cleaned it up, hauled it away, filled it in. And
They leave a concrete ring around them.
they go down so far, like 6 feet deep, and they take all the concrete out, and then they fill it back in with clean fill. So. Also wanted to mention that we did, they're in the process, I'll show you here in a minute what that looks like now. Kind of got some stuff out of order.
How old was that clear well? 50s?
57.
Yeah.
57.
57, everything's 57 here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they were busy back then.
The problem there was
Almost
that, yeah. The problem there was that we were short circuiting. We had one great big, that clear well there is only like about 90,000 gallons. We have another clear well that's newer that was put in 1998 that's 500,000. We were getting short circuiting with chlorine and levels and trying to feed chlorine, and they'd rise and fall together. So now we've done away with this. We can concentrate just on the one clear well. Things move up and down. We know exactly how much chlorine feeds in that, and so far it's worked out really well since we've actually done away with it. New asphalt going down. They put in a nice, good, thick base. Everything's looking good on the asphalt. And as you can see the nice
Who did the asphalt?
bricks or something like that. It's a subcontractor in Kirk Brothers.
Are they around here?
Yeah,
Close by?
I got a card. You want me to email?
Somebody else to call for 79.
No, something like that. This is the bid for another bid for 79, a little patch, so we don't get taken to cleaners by Shelley or Kokoza.
Yeah. Yeah, I called him.
How thick is that? It's about
You
4
know your
inches,
cousin's
5
gonna take it
inches.
out of your budget anyway.
Yep. There's the concrete work that was completed, the flat work, asphalt. There's actually the new clear well. This is the new concrete. This is the older existing concrete. Another picture of the new clarifier. This clarifier is up and running now. So the new clarifier is up and running, producing good water. I'll test it for NTU, which is the turbidity of the water. Make sure that it's performing like it's supposed to be performing. And then once I get those results back, then get them off the Ovivo is the manufacturer of the clarifier. So make sure that meets. What they're working on right here is the lime feed system. There's stainless steel V-notch troughs. They go out to the new clarifier. This is them lining it up and getting the correct height and everything on it. There's the clarifier. I don't have a picture of the full water right now.
Does that trough cut across where you would walk in between the two?
But there's a stainless steel set of steps that goes over it now. It used to be wood.
Okay.
There was a wood set. You remember the wood
Yeah.
set that used to go over it? Now it's stainless steel.
Okay.
You walk up over it and go to the other side. It's not completed yet, but they got it out there and they're working on getting it finished up. Anyway, while we were doing a lot of that heavy work right here, as you can see, there's equipment in there and so forth. The chlorine line broke. That gives you an example of riding heavy equipment over top of lines, what'll happen. So it busted. We had 2 breaks on that two different times. So our crew went ahead and put in plastic pipe. Steve Lobb and Mike Hammond, and we ran a new Schedule 80 PVC pipe in the ditch and replaced the old pipe. There's a picture of the old pipe here, and this is the new pipe that we just put in. It's a demolition of the clear well. There's this, they're getting ready for seeding now. They were in there today, cleaning all the rocks up to get ready to seed. That's the old clarifier that was built in 1998. It'll produce 2 million gallons a day. And that's the new one. They'll produce, actually they produce 2.2 each one of them. As they build, they produce 2.2 million gallons a day. So your plant capacity now is 4.4 MGD per day. As you can see, the water quality looks real good. It's nice and clear in there, nice and blue. Looks like Hawaii.
That does not look very clear right there.
That's the lime sludge lagoon. We'll talk a little bit about that. We usually normally do a 3-year contract on the lime sludge lagoon, and they take out so much lime sludge for 3 years. In the past, have not had any problems with that. Companies come in, they take out what they're supposed to take out, and they leave. Well, the company that we're dealing with right now has went through some bankruptcy problems possibly, and having some issues, and they seem to be just taking out the minimal amount. I think they bid the job pretty cheap. So they take out just enough to satisfy it. In the future, I think we're going to have to tighten up that contract language. Because right now, we allow them, the 3-year contract was for 2012, 13, and 14. First year they were supposed to take out 2,500 dry tons. They took out 350 dry tons. We're supposed to take out 2,500 dry tons. They only took 350 dry tons out. Second year they were supposed to take out 1,500 dry tons, and they removed 1,575, which was good. They went over what they were supposed to take out for the year, but they never caught up from the year before. And then now 2014, it's in the process. They've been hauling pretty good this summer, but it's going to drop off now because all the farmers' crops are in. So you probably won't see it back till this fall.
So how are they paid? Are they paid annually?
They pay as they remove it. They
Oh,
have so
okay.
many dry tons, that's when we pay them.
Okay.
That amount. So we don't, so if they take out 350 dry tons, that's what they get paid.
So there's nothing from a non-performance issue that we can then get, okay.
They're doing exactly.
So
we get
company, we've
paid.
had like 3 renewals of this, or
This is the second 3-year contract deal.
the
that we've
second
had.
one?
Yeah, and this company had the first one and did a fantastic job for it.
Same
But what
company?
they did was their employees that did really well and they did an excellent job.
Went elsewhere.
They laid them off and
Oh, wow.
brought in, paid these guys cheaper amounts of money, and so they're not near as efficient. So anyway, what I'm suggesting is in the new contract, we're going to make them take out so much per year. If not, then they get penalized. What that'll do with the cost of removing, I don't know. So we got to kind of be careful what we do, but yet we want to make it more solid that they're got to get in there and get it out within a certain amount of time. So, and we'll look at the contract. Me and the mayor will discuss it, and see if that's kind of what we want to do, and then we'll go ahead and try to improve the contract language for the line local.
So in short, these things build up? Are they in danger
Yeah,
of
there's no danger.
overflow at
No.
any time before the fall?
They keep us happy. Yeah. I mean, they do what they just have to do to get by, and they drag it out. Which is not real good sometimes.
So here's my question. At the end of the 3-year period of time, they were supposed to have removed 4,500 dry tons of lime.
55.
5,500 tons. Yeah.
So, if at the end of this 3-year period, if they've not done that, okay, then we've not paid them as much, but we have to turn right back around and do another contract with somebody, probably not these guys, in order to get the lime removed. I mean, we're not paying these guys to remove it, but we're also not getting it removed.
And like I said, we had the same company, the last 3 contracts, and in between the years, we were able to let it set for 2 years because we were that far ahead.
Yeah.
This contract, it's not going to be that way. So that's why I'm saying we got to change the language. We've never had them do this before. Normally, they go in, they get their 2,500 dry tons out, and then they're done.
Because they want paid.
Because they won't pay. These guys here, I can see why they're having some issues with their.
Yeah.
Is it the workers that's a problem, or is it coming from the main office?
The workers say
We
it's coming
talked
from
to
the workers say it's coming from the main office.
What's that?
What I'm hearing is the people that work for them say it's coming. These orders are coming from the main office.
Maybe we call.
Oh, I have.
Oh, we
Oh,
have.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there's nothing in the contract that
Yeah.
tells them that they
We just
have to-
don't. We just don't pay them.
We just don't pay them if they don't get it out. But in the future, we're going to have to change that.
Yeah, there's gonna have to be a penalty or
But
something.
we've never ran across this where they didn't have it taken out.
Right.
I mean, we've been taking out lime for years out of this lagoon, and I've never had where they don't perform what they're supposed to
We
perform.
were happy when they got the contract.
Well,
I remember that.
Very satisfied with the first 3.
they bid this contract and it was cheaper than what they bid it the 5 years earlier. So something's telling me a little bit is they're keeping us happy. Yet I think they bid the job too.
So they're
The
not
thing of
gonna
it
They
is,
could go
they're not,
somewhere else and make more money.
Yeah, they're not really keeping us happy.
but John, they're not keeping us happy for only taking out 350 tons.
Yeah, that's true. They really messed us up that first year. They've tried to do better.
They were supposed to have removed 4,000 tons by now, and they haven't even removed 2.
That's correct.
My question is, does that make it wetter when they haul them?
Well, it's dry tons, so if it can be as wet as it wants to be, but the formula, they only get paid for dry
For
tons.
dry, right? But the wetter it is, the more loads they have because they can't haul as much. So they get paid by the dry ton, but they're doing more work because they didn't get it out originally.
Right. If they don't haul a certain percentage, like we do the tests on the line, and it'll range anywhere from, I've seen anywhere from 15% solids to 25 to 30% solids. Well, there was a few days in there where they were running really thin, and it's dry tons, not wet tons. So years ago we paid for wet tons to come out, and the guy came in, skimmed off the top, and everything was water. All he was doing was hauling water,
Yeah.
and we weren't getting any solids out.
Yeah, that water was pretty wet too.
Yeah, it was real wet. So a year after they did it, we were right back in there again, you know. Now we make them take out dry tons. So you want the dry tons. You want to continue hauling the dry tons out because that's the solids that they're taking out.
Is that the polecat contractor?
Polecat, remember that? They were the first ones. That wasn't the one we were having trouble with. The other one, it was another company we were having trouble with. Polecat actually did a really good job for us, but there was another one that we had problems with.
There's a lot of people in this industry.
Yeah,
A lot of
there's
choices.
quite a few.
Well, then we need to shop around, tell these people if they want the job, they better straighten up.
Well,
Well, I can understand. I mean, like this company that we signed on with had done it just the time before. Had done a great job the time
Yes,
before.
right, yeah.
Their bid was, if I remember,
Contract
quite a bit
was the
less.
same, yeah.
Quite a bit less than what the other bids had come in at. Just to sign on with them.
This thing should be a transition period. Don't wait until this contract's up. Let's start
Shop
search,
around.
because they don't have to pull out another ton out of there if they want to, based on this
no. The way I understand it,
willy-nilly contract.
from looking at it, there's no set in our contract. When we read through it, there was nothing in there saying that they had to take out so many minimum per year. That's what we need to change in the contract. We need to say you need to take out 75% of that 2,500 dry tons this year,
Or you don't get paid.
or you don't get paid, or something like that.
Yeah.
There's got to be some contract language change.
I think we ought to start on that this year. We really should start the process.
Well, we're still under contract for another 3 years.
But-
So
So
what?
what?
If we
So
sign
what?
with another company to haul lime out too, what difference does it make to this
Yeah.
company that's not hauling it
If
out?
they show up and there's nothing to pull, who cares? They weren't gonna show up anyway. Were they
I
or
mean,
weren't they?
does our contract give this company the exclusive right
Exclusive
to
right?
the
I'd have
lime
to
lagoon?
look. I'd have to double
But
check.
is there any
If it doesn't,
language in
I mean,
there
the
that
contract's
goosey
out
goosey
there.
thing either?
I'd have to look through it.
I'd be,
I just
like
know there's
Jeff's
nothing in there saying they
I'd
have to
say,
take out
hey,
so much.
we're gonna get somebody to
Get
haul it
started.
out.
Oh, I'm
Either
sure we
you're
can
gonna
get
haul it
started.
out,
Get
or we're gonna
started.
get somebody else.
We're not in any immediate danger or anything like that of overflowing or
And
anything
that's
like
probably
that.
the key right now is we're not.
Let's be proactive, not reactive.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay.
Okay, so in water, we talked about, let's see, the line, we talked about water plant improvements, new valve installed, demolition of the clear well, asphalt and concrete, slab work, line feed system, I talked a little bit about that, repair of the chlorine line, and the lime lagoon cleaning. Okay, so now we're gonna talk a little bit about wastewater. Does anyone have any questions on water?
Nope.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get into the wastewater. This right here, we're doing our yearly routine maintenance of the clarifiers right now. And what we're doing is every clarifier has to be cleaned out, washed down and everything every year. We do that once a year. But what we're noticing is a lot of paint that needs to be done on the clarifiers. It's something that we need to get started on. If you can see, I don't know, there's a real good picture. Here's kind of like a picture. See, here's your primer showing through the paint. A lot of this stuff here is tar based. The concrete that was painted here, you can see that we're starting to show the paint disappearing from. This type of paint on some of the interior here is like a tar-based paint that's submerged in the water. We went ahead and we had an engineering firm, Hazen and Sawyer, spec exactly how we wanted those painted. Then we took them around to 3 different contractors, and believe it or not, we did have a contractor that bid on it. It will be taken out of our regular budget, and let's see if I got this picture. Source there. Let's let that slide out. There it is. There's a painting schedule. Anyway, we got someone, I don't know if you guys remember when I originally came in, the engineer's estimate to paint that was like $90,000. This company bid it for $47,377.16 per specification. They're going to do it per specification. That's how the engineers wanted them to do it. Why the engineer's estimate was so high, I have no idea. It was scared me to death because I thought I was going to have to go in and try to appropriate more money and everything. But we do have enough in our regular budget to cover this amount.
So they started painting it.
They have a deadline. They have to start July 1st and end August 31st. It's got to be completed in that time frame. Those are our lowest flows. But basically what you're doing is when you take down a clarifier, you're cutting the plane in half. So we try to do it when we think it's going to be the lowest flows because of infiltration and different things. It's dry weather and so forth. So they have to complete it within that time frame. So we want to do a painting schedule. We can't afford to do it all at once, but we need to get caught up on some of the painting at the wastewater plant. So in 2014, we're going to do the south clarifier. In 2015, we're going to do the north clarifier. And probably either 2015 or 2016, we're going to do the thickener down at the wastewater plant.
So we got to rebid the north as well?
Yeah, you'll rebid it at the end of the year. Now, what I'd like to do is go back to this company here who bid this south clarifier and say, hey, can you do it for the same price as you did
That's
last
a
year?
hungry contractor, provided they have good.
Yeah, we've
Good
had
work.
good success with them. They were also the company, they were also the company that painted the clarifiers originally when they were first built. So, and that's all, they do a lot of wastewater clarifiers. So that's kind of the painting schedule. That's the guys working on the clarifiers.
John, who are those guys that don't have the yellow t-shirts on? White t-shirt right there, black t-shirt right there.
Wow.
Who are those guys?
That's summer help.
Okay. Do they have yellow t-shirts now?
We have vests,
Oh, that's right. Okay.
but they aren't working out in traffic. Normally, they wear yellow when they're close to roads or traffic or
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
We don't. We have vests for them, but we don't supply them a yellow shirt.
Okay.
If they want a yellow shirt, they buy it.
Okay.
But
So
now, if they're near any kind of traffic or anything like
If
that,
they're out checking lift stations and that kind of thing, they wear vests.
we've got vests for them. They don't do this. Yep. Anytime they leave the plant or they're anywhere near traffic or where people got to see them, we have the vest.
All right.
Okay. Summer Help's doing a real good job this year. We hired 2 at the wastewater plant, 2 at the distribution, and 1 at the water plant. So we have 5 Summer Help employees. They're all doing an excellent job. Good kids.
We're gonna have
Good
the cookout
workers.
this year
Oh, yeah.
again over
We're
at the
gonna do
water
the
plant.
cookout, yeah.
Are we? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to do it this year. We skipped last year and went to Stacy's. This year, I think we'll go ahead and take them out. We'll go ahead and roast some corn. I'd like to get back to roasting that corn on the grill.
Yeah.
We did that one year. Gosh, it was good.
Yeah.
You alternate between the water and the wastewater plant, or just water?
We've had some feeds at the wastewater plant, but mostly the cookouts at the water. So, why? You
More-
wouldn't come and eat at the
More
wastewater?
appetizing environment. Is that what
Let Nick feel left out.
Yeah, we skipped it last year. I think we're gonna bring it back this year. So, since the guys are working real good and the summer help employees are doing a real good job, I think.
Doesn't matter where the grill's hot at, the wastewater guys will come.
Plus, the
up
mayor
and say,
asked me about it every year. You know, when the mayor asked me about it every year, he must have enjoyed it. So I think.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just shows pictures of the catwalk and the different things. Like I said, we'll be painting this top portion that you see white, and then the weirs. Actually, the weirs come off. I think those are steel weirs, right?
The ring on the inside,
It's steel.
but the weir themselves,
Is
the
that
V notches
fiberglass?
are.
Okay, but I think they have to take those off. I think or is it just
That's the way I understood that
the
the
ring.
fiberglass ones had to come off, but they could leave the steel one, the outer or the inner. They could leave it on. The way I understand.
Okay. I know it's all spec'd out by engineers. I mean, they did a good job for us and made sure that we were when we painted. They get painted every about 20, 25 years. This is the first time they've been painted. This is a 91, I think, expansion.
I didn't think it.
So it's been a while since. Okay. Didn't have a whole lot on wastewater, but kind of wanted to talk a little bit about some things that's future water and wastewater improvements. These are some of the big ticket items that's going to be coming up in the next 4 years. Future water and wastewater improvements, dual feed to the west side of town. We talked about that. This is an engineer's estimate. It's $551,200.
It's off by 50% again.
New water, at the WCLT water tank, new tank. That is something that will definitely be on the short-term horizon. WCLT tank is in pretty bad shape up toward the top.
I'd prioritize that even above.
Are these
the
in
dual
rank
feed.
order, or are these just random order?
These are random order.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I wanted to do was I wanted to combine the tank and the dual feed into one project and bid it. Whether or not that's the way it's going to end up, I don't know. But what I want to really tell you guys is the next public service meeting, we got ADR completed the study on water tank and feeding water in the future to that area and what type of tank we should put up, cost estimates. That's why I left that blank, was because you'll be hearing a lot about that in the next public service meeting. So I really,
You're gonna go ahead and let them present that
they'll be
information.
presenting all that information. And I'll be kicking some information in when I do that, like I said. But they'll be presenting what they found out, where we're allowed to build a tank, where we can't. There's a lot of things to consider because the airport, some areas that we thought, well, hey, that'd be great for a water tank. You're just not gonna be allowed to put one in because of the airport. That area and that fly zone, they just won't allow it. Another thing is, I know we were kind of talking about the pedosphere style tank. That's kind of changing right now. So I'm not gonna take the wind out of the ADR sail, but they've came up with some really good alternatives for us to think about on water tanks, how to do it, and what's the best way to do it. So that'll be next public service meeting.
But not the green side.
No, not anymore. So I mean, they serve a purpose and they serve a need. Anyway, wastewater, a new scum removal system. We got an estimate on that. When you bid it, this price will probably come down. But the scum removal system needs to be replaced. It's kind of lagging along on, I don't know what we want to say, Nick. It's just kind of limping along on some of the stuff that's.
What's the age of the existing one?
1991. That is one of the things that was planned in the, that needed to be in the replacement of different pieces of equipment. It's the week before last week, I showed you how bad it was rusted. Paddles were rusted off. I showed pictures and stuff of that.
The chain
Was in bad shape. The actual metal that housed it was getting a lot of damage and holes in it. The guys have done a really good job making it last as long as it's lasted, but we need to be thinking about next year replacement. So, that's $125,000. Another thing that we're thinking about at the wastewater plant that I think we need to think about putting into this in the future things that need to be done is a drying bed system. So many times we get out somewhere where we'll pump a lift station, or we'll pump a scum tank out, or we will clean the aeration chamber. What we can do is we can put this on a drying bed, let it dry out. The liquids go back into the plant drain, and then we can, and when it dries out, we can take it and put it in the cake building. And I think it would be a great benefit. What do you think, Nick?
Absolutely. We've talked about it for several years now.
So this would be kind of like another treatment process that's needed. It's not a real expensive type of a fix for things, but if you just, sometimes you just need some place to dry the solids and so forth out without pressing it and so forth. What we're doing now is sometimes we throw it back into the digester.
Well, it's so small. But what we actually have now, it's too small and too much liquid goes back for what we need. We need something larger that will allow the liquid to go back slower.
Right. We have something similar to that, but it's very small.
Where at?
It's right behind the digesters. You know where the
Okay.
digesters are? Right behind that, there's a electrical panel and there's a pit right there. We'll dump stuff in that pit, and there's not enough detention time, and there's no place for the water. There is a place for the water to go. There's kind of like a screen there, but it doesn't do a real good job of filtering the solids out so that it can dry out with the sun and so forth. So this would make it a lot better for drying of solids and so forth. Things that, you know, smaller type things that we use the vac truck for, that we could put on this drying bed and it would just kind of dry out, and then every so often we could take our tractor and, you know, remove the solids and dump it into the cake building.
So this is like to the open air.
This is an open air.
What's that gonna smell like?
I don't think we'll have, I mean, we have that now, but it's not quite as big. I don't think we'll have a lot of problems with it, because it's not like it's a main process load. It's small amounts, like 1,000 gallons or less, and I don't think we're going to get a lot of odor from that. Normally we don't.
Yeah, and it's not like it would be in operation 365 days out of the year. It's only going to be used.
Maybe a couple dozen times a year.
Yeah.
Some kind of roof over this thing?
Yeah, it's right out in the middle. It's the way we used to dry solids when the plant was put in the 60s.
Just the sun.
With the sun, dries it out.
Where'd you get the rain?
Sun, wind, and air.
Air, yeah, you get rain and stuff back in on it. I mean, but normally they have there's a filtering system on them, and the liquid will dump into like a plant drain or something, and the solids stay on top. And you just go through and you scoop them up. When they're dry, you pick a nice dry day, not like today, but you can tell, and then you just use it to.
Well, I've
Never seen that.
I'm having a hard time wrapping my. I mean, I understand the concept, but I'm having a hard time
I'll show
understanding
you
why
another
we would use it.
concept that's similar to that, but not quite the same.
I mean, why wouldn't we just take whatever we've pumped into the vac truck and put it at the head of the plant and have it go through the regular treatment
Mostly
process?
stuff that you've pumped out, you don't want back in. That's why you've pumped it out.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
solids that are good.
Do you have a similar facility for receiving what you pump out of stormwater facilities that are contaminated, like around the industrial site?
Stormwater, we don't really get into the stormwater issue. We don't allow septic haulers or anything to come in and dump in our wastewater
I'm
plant.
just asking, because previous experience, industrial facilities, sometimes contaminants get in the soils in a storm drain, city comes by to do maintenance. Now what are we gonna do with it? We don't want it in our regular solids.
Right. I mean, I suppose it could be used for emergency situations if we had something. I mean, we gotta be really careful with what we take, like if we had an industrial spill or something like that. because it can cause damage to our plant. Yeah, stormwater, we don't receive. We're a closed system at our wastewater plant. We don't have Newark has a system where they receive stormwater and sewer together. City Heath does not have that. They're totally separate. So whatever stormwater you get goes into the river. Whatever wastewater goes down to the wastewater plant. So, and I know they're in the process of separating them in Newark now. That's costing a lot. And then the last thing that we were looking at is the wastewater collection system. We're going to have to be doing some line repair that normally would not be done. Our system's getting older. We're getting some infiltration in certain areas. So we're going to have to take maybe an additional amount of money, possibly $100,000 to $150,000 needs to be thought about on that in the next 4 years.
How about increasing the capacity of the plant? Compared to our water plant, our capacity of wastewater is,
When you increase the capacity of a wastewater plant, it costs a lot of money versus a water plant. So, yes, if you see things coming up on the horizon, it could possibly be beneficial for us to increase the capacity of the wastewater plant. I can see it happening. If to just increase it and then not get the customers would put a pretty good burden on the people that are paying
Just
for
the users.
the
How
wastewater plant.
significant is your I&I?
But yeah, I mean, I'm all for increasing plant capacity if we know that it's going to be worth our
Gonna
while.
pay for it.
If you got something that's going to pay for it,
Economic
because
development is there.
I mean, it's triple. When you increase the capacity at a wastewater plant versus a water plant, it's triple the cost. Yes, sir.
How significant is the I&I?
We are starting to get I&I now at a pretty good percentage. So we are showing
I&I is,
infiltration into the sewer system.
Stormwater infiltration.
Yeah, you'll get cracks in your, primarily our lines and our wastewater are tile, a lot of tile. And tile will get cracks in it, and roots, and sort of things. We try to make repairs on things like that. What we are good at is, fortunately, we're a young city, so most of our sewer mains are no more than, we're put in the mid-60s. So some older cities have brick for their inside of their piping and so forth. I mean, downtown Newark, those are brick sewers.
Courthouse Square.
Courthouse
Full
Square,
of brick, full of-
those are brick. So we're fortunate, but we are showing some, we've made some patches here and there, like we did the line, I've talked about that many times at the mail, where the post office is.
Yeah.
We redid those lines. We did some repairs in Southgate, some shorter, but we're showing when we go in and camera so much every year, we're starting to show some areas that have some significant cracks and roots and so forth. So we need to address those with, in the future, in the next 4 years or so, on some of those major repairs. So the procedure for that is we find out where our main repairs are going to be, and we find out what the total cost of the improvements are. Say we need to put in a water tank. We need to put in that's the scum collector that Jack had his leg on. We're going to need to establish sewer rates to pay for that. So we'll do it. We'll get the total cost of the improvements that we think is going to take place in the next 4 years. We will do a rate study to see how much it's going to take to make those improvements, and then that rate study will be established into the water and sewer rates. That will be done this fall. So we're still looking at things. This fall we will get with Malcolm Purney. What are they called now?
does it start with an A or something?
Arcadis.
Arcadis, yeah.
They're called Arcadis. They have our system in the computer model. They'll plug in what our rates are now, what some of our debt services coming off. Because we have some, I know a lot on the water side. 2017, we had a lot of debt service coming off, and also the improvements that we need to make in the next 4 years.
But we had
And
built
then
in enough so that over the past few years, we collected enough to just pay off that loan for the Seminary Road tank.
Right, yeah, that's exactly what happened there. So it's gonna establish that, we're gonna, it just gives us a model of what needs to be done, what the rates need to be, and what we need to do to complete the improvements. So that'll be done this fall. We'll have all of our numbers and everything together by then. The previous slide that I mentioned. But a lot of those are pretty solid, except the WCLT tank. So we'll see where we're at.
Now, John, that WCLT tank, is that in the flight approach for?
No.
Okay.
Where
I didn't
we
think
start
it was
getting in the
because
flight
of the
approach,
antenna up there,
it's,
so.
yeah, when you start getting near River Oaks, and
Yeah,
you're thinking, we'll just
Yeah.
put, it's on one of the higher points in the city. We thought, we'll just set a tank up here near River Oaks. Can't do it. And that's what ADR will explain to you next week, is they actually have the different zones and what's the heights allowed to be. They've done a really complete study on this. They did an excellent job. I was really happy. I met with them 3 different times, 3 different meetings to discuss what kind of tank. What's really neat about it is they're looking into the future. They're looking at WCLT pressure zone. They're looking at if we want to expand in that area, what type of tank we need, what the capacity of the tank should be, and then we're also thinking about doing away with a lift station. WCLT feeds clear back into River Oaks. River Oaks has some low pressure problems on the upper areas, the Laurel Oaks Lane, some in the older section of River Oaks. They're looking at that and addressing that too. So this tank will do away with the lift station. The type of style tank that they're talking about has next to little maintenance done on it. So he'll explain that next week.
CCLT.
Next month.
Next month.
Got that tower there, so we got a
Oh,
long
yeah.
way to get
Yeah,
that.
that's for sure. Yeah.
But Doug Holtz is a project engineer on that, and he will be here at the July 28th meeting. Other than that, I did put the major funds totals so that you know what the major funds are, what are budgeted in those different ones: capital improvements, operating, and replacement funds. Other than that, I am done. Unless you guys have any questions.
Got one down.
I have a question. John, someone asked me today, and I want to make sure I was telling them right. In the city of Heath, the homeowner sewer lateral going to the main, okay? How much are they responsible for, and how much is the city responsible for as far as repairing? Is it to the right of way? Is it to the?
It's
to
not
the
Jay
street?
Clark, is it?
I don't know. Someone.
Oh, okay.
I don't know a name. Someone asked me.
Yeah, I actually have a meeting. There's someone that's having some lateral problems, and I've discussed this before. This is getting pretty close to the middle of the road. I mean, not in the middle of the road, but along the edge. Although where they marked it and where we think we've got this thing, my personal opinion is if they get out into the road, the homeowner should not have to pay to put asphalt back in the road. That's my personal opinion. I mean, they should have to pay to repair their lateral, but it's from their home to the main is what they're responsible for the repair. That's the lateral.
The last time I had this conversation, I think it was on Radiant Drive. We repaired somebody's under the road, or the city was out there doing the repair or something, and I asked why and everything. So
Yeah, the lateral itself, from the home
to the main.
is
Their
their responsibility.
Because we never clean up laterals, right?
Yeah.
We only clean the main.
That's correct.
Okay, so they repair it, but it's under the road. So now you get up to the asphalt. Now is the city of Heath going to replace asphalt, or are they got to get it?
I think the city of Heath should have to pay to replace the asphalt. I don't think the homeowner should have to pay for
Well,
it.
I guess I'm asking what.
That's my opinion.
Who pays for it?
Well,
what's your
that,
practice?
we've discussed this before, and it's never happened since I've been the utilities director. So I don't know. It's kind of, but my personal opinion is, I don't think the homeowner should have to pay to rebuild the street.
That's not addressed in
We
city
were
or
concerned
sewer
also.
ordinances.
Because in Newark, they're responsible to the main and responsible for all repairs.
Even on the street.
Yep. For everything.
Let me ask you.
I think that's the way we are. If you go looking back through the ordinances, that's probably what it's going to say. But to me, if I was a homeowner and the city put a sewer line down the middle of the road, and I had to place that, I would be hot.
But what's the alternative then? To run sewer lines down both sides of each street?
Backyards or along the street.
Yeah.
There are jurisdictions, you just go to the property line.
City of, Southgate's, everything's in the backyard. Now, the guys don't like it, but you're not digging up the street.
Yeah.
Well, it's in my backyard.
Rough to service. And
It's
when
very
you have
rough.
a problem, it's
Because what
very rough
happens
to
is
service.
everybody puts a fence in their backyard.
Or sheds.
A shed or whatever, and then you gotta climb over the fence, pull hose, and
I took my
all
fence
that.
out.
But that is one way of getting around.
That makes it fun
good.
though. That's like an obstacle
Yeah.
course kind of thing.
Yeah, these guys like obstacle courses. But my personal opinion is,
Takes more manpower.
So I guess what I'm saying is, you better come up with a policy and stick to it one way or the other.
yeah.
Because you're gonna probably get more of these as
time
the
goes
city ages
they
and places
age.
where, stuff.
As a city agent.
Because there'll be some places
Well,
where the
what's your
sewer's on one
opinion?
side.
What's your opinion?
I kind of like them where they pay all the way to the main. That's why it's real easy. It's theirs to take care of, no matter what. The problem they get in, it gets real expensive in some cases. In some cases, depending on what kind of repair they'll do on it. Okay, that's where you may need to have certain specifications. It has to be put back a
Do you
certain
think
way.
they should replace the road?
Just pay for it, yeah. But I think you need to have stipulation on how it's done. The problem you come into. It's just like trying to get the repair of the road there on 79 where the water main was break. If someone goes out and tears up the road and you say, well, the city's going to repair it, it seems like it's taking us forever to get that repaired. How long is it going to take us to get that? But if you tell them it's on them, hey, hire a contractor and they'll put the asphalt in there and be done with it, or concrete so much and then an asphalt top.
Repairing a road back to city specifications isn't going to be cheap.
No.
It's going to really put a hurting on
Yeah, it is.
a homeowner.
But if the city does it, then it's putting the cost of it on all the other taxpayers that didn't have the problem in the first place. So it's 6 1 half dozen the other.
Well, this one instance that I'm talking about is the guys have been out, and I know Nick's working on this, and he's actually has a meeting with me tomorrow at 12:30. But a meeting with the homeowner. This is on Fieldson Drive. We originally, Roto-Rooter is saying that our main is in the middle of the road, and our guys are saying that it's on the side of the road. So I want to meet with him and see what Roto-Rooter's telling them, and then,
Can we drop a camera down there with a GPS?
Supposedly they did a camera from their house out to the lateral, out through their lateral onto the main.
Really?
He marked it on the road, but then we're showing, we think, right, that it's possibly on the edge of the road. So,
But I'm pretty sure Radian Drive, I'm pretty sure that's the road a few years back, and there was a problem down there, and the city repaired their lateral over to the outside the road, over to the property and everything. Because I kept saying, why are we doing that? You think?
I don't remember anything like that.
But it may have been maybe before you were in charge.
It was before
because that's
October of 07.
Because when I first came here, I asked why are we doing that? Because North doesn't do it, and it's the way that Heath does it. Do we do everything in the right of way? The sewer is theirs. Check.
I'll check my
back with
ordinances
some
and everything,
stuff
but I'm
too.
sure that we're not responsible for any laterals, are we now?
No.
We've never done it. Do you remember anything on that on Radiant? That we
It'd been a long time. It probably before Nick was here. I mean,
If
when I
we were
first came to council,
responsible
a lot
for
of
the
difference.
laterals, then
If
we
it
would
was
have
before
to
Nick,
clean-
it was before me.
Okay.
If we were responsible for the laterals, then we would have to clean up the laterals to the point that we're no longer responsible.
No, I'm talking about the repair of them, Eric. It's
In the
was
road.
that- in the road, in the right of way. Kind
You're
of
talking
like
about
you do
the-
water line. Water line.
you're talking about the repair of the
shut-off
road.
box.
Yeah.
It was the same way. It was water and sewer was the same because when I first got on council, I wanted to know all the difference between what Nork did and what Heath did because there was always a difference. And that was one. It was a glaring difference between Nork and Heath was that Heath did it. You might check with
I've never
either
repaired
Penrose or because he'd done the street, or check with Dave Brenner or something, I had to see what used to do or something.
Let's review what we have, the
know.
ordinances that we have in place.
Well,
Let's
I'm
see
saying,
what-
if-
I'll
we're
review
gonna
the
do-
ordinances and everything, but I can pretty much tell you, I mean,
The ordinance
homeowners
probably
are
says that they're
They're
responsible.
This was
responsible for
discussed,
all
wasn't
repairs.
it a year ago when you brought in this
Yeah.
information?
Yeah, I did, we did a policy on sewer backups,
Right.
Okay.
okay?
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
on
very
sewer
similar to
backups,
this.
Yeah.
We established a policy on sewer backups, but not on lateral repairs. I've never addressed that.
Because we did talk about,
But we did
The
talk
city-
about it.
about
Yeah,
somebody repairing city
if the
Yeah.
plug,
streets
if the
Yeah.
plug is
I remember that.
in the right of way.
If it's in their lateral,
last year.
plugs in their lateral, we're not responsible. If the
Right.
plug's in our main, then we will allow up to like $3,000 for cleanup.
Yeah.
We set a limit on it.
I'm just
Take a
saying, if
look
they
at those
camera the
ordinances.
line's
Let's see
broken,
what
they
we
go out
have
in the
in
street, have
place
to
right
dig down
now,
and
and
replace
go
their
from
pipe
there.
out in the street, you know, they pay all
I'll
the way out.
update you on it in the next council meeting.
Yeah, just check it
Or
out,
the next
get the policy.
service meeting.
Could be curious to know.
Anybody have anything?
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
6:31, we're adjourned.
I'm a new resident.
Pardon?
I'm a new resident.
Oh, okay.
Nice to see you.
What's your name, sir?
Richard Cope,
Welcome.
moved here
Thanks for
April
coming.
1st.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Where do you live, sir?
Village is a
Sure, let me shut this off.
River Road.